Alright, what's up guys? New week. Got the Ford out first in Sebring. It's overcast, so that was a nice little surprise. Yeah, cars just generally behave better in the colder weather. A little more horsepower and a little bit better grip. And again, these are my first laps with this car on this track this week, so just gonna run a good amount of laps and start to figure out what this setup's doing. This is my setup from Road Atlanta. Although they're different layouts, you know, Road Atlanta has some bumps and the long straightaway, so in a sense there are some similarities between the two. Because once I start getting more setups in my database for that season, I'll start, instead of just pulling up the setup from the previous week, I'll start and try and look for setups that make a little bit more sense. You know, two tracks have similar character. And so far this week, Road Atlanta probably has the most similar, or more similar characteristics than any other track to this track. Just seeing what my force feedback's at. After driving the Porsche, the steering in the Ford feels a little dead, but also I think my force feedback's a little low right now. Yeah, that's better. I really do like how you can adjust that on the fly. It saves so much time. And if you don't know how, you just do it under graphics adjustments in your black boxes. Again, you guys can't see that because of the overlay, but that's what I was adjusting. And I'm happy with the steering. Start working on brake points and all that fun stuff. What gear I'm supposed to be in for what corner. I did make the adjustment of fuel before I started the video. Full tank because it's 70 minutes in the last race, and back down to 30-minute race. So I got like 15.5 gallons in here just to be safe. I mean, technically that should be just over 30 minutes, but we'll see. As you know, I'm not exactly the best at fuel mileage or fuel calculations. Right now I'm adjusting my monitor, my right triple, because I'll spin it around when I'm not racing. I just got to adjust the height of it so it all matches up. Now I'm good to go. Oh, that last bump. .09. This week's going to be a lot of experimentation just because of all the bumps. And to really get the high-speed dampeners, which is what focuses on the bumps, to get that, get those right, just to oscillate just right with the bumps. So, you know, it's just a lot of trial and error, trying different settings. So once I get the general handling of the car sorted out, it'll be a little bit more trial and error with those high-speed dampeners. Always found in the past that tight aero line you can hold in there, the better off you'll be.
4.07.
Got a little loose on entry there. Again, especially on this track, I really don't want to be in anybody's draft. So I'm gonna let both these guys go
On the right side.
because it just affects your lap time too much.
Keep going, keep going.
Car feels pretty ill handling right now. It'll take me a while to really get it all sorted out. As far as just, you know, trying to figure out what exactly feels wrong with the car. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long adjustment-wise. Got in there a little too hot and the rear end broke loose, so the rear end does want to break loose on entry to low speed corners when you're going in there hot. But then again, it's kind of not right for me to say the car's ill handling, because like I've been preaching in the videos before, it could just be I'm driving like a, you know, I'm not driving at my best right now. I did just wake up too, so I use that as an excuse too.
Middle of the track.
But seriously, it's just best not to, you know, jump to conclusions that quick, really. You know, wait till you're driving some good laps and you're kind of plateauing with lap times before you really make those kind of judgment calls. Right now it seems like it's pushing a little bit getting out of that last corner. Can't get on the throttle as early as I like, but it could be my line. It's kind of doing the same thing right there when I tried to get on the gas, just pushed out. A little too fast going in there. No idea what a good lap time is right now. I haven't even looked at what other people are in this session. I'm gonna just keep it that way so I can just worry about my time right now and just improving it slowly by slowly, because I'm sure I'm like 3 or 4 seconds off right now. I haven't ran a good lap, but even so, I feel like it's better just to worry about your pace and getting better tenth at a time instead of looking at somebody else's time and worrying about it that's second and a half quicker than you, because you're not going to pick up a second and a half just like that. You're going to slowly climb your way up to that. And also keep in mind, practice in race field, and if you're practicing race field and other people in the session have a lot faster times, they're probably in quality field, so don't worry about it too much. .96. I was overdriving the car a bit when I first got in here, so right now I'm really trying to focus on being a lot smoother. Getting pretty oversteery. 1.6. Coming out of that corner. Oversteer coming out of that corner still. You have to be careful with the Ford. I don't know if this one's still like it, but GT2 Ford would, when you run over a cone, most of the time it gets stuck between the splitter and the road, so be careful not to run into those with this car. And a little loose on entry there. Probably the best line I've got through there so far. It's a little bit later apex.
1.3.
Trying to go for a later apex through here too. I'm gonna see if I could do it in fourth gear that time, but I think I need to go down to third.
1.19.
definitely taking me. I think it's going to take me a little bit longer to figure out what I need to do to this setup right now. Just because of the way the bumps are, it just unsettles the car, so it's not as accurate a representation as just the handling versus how the car is handling the bumps. So they're kind of like two different categories. So you kind of gotta like subtract the bumps from the track when you're thinking about the handling of the car. You know, really focus on the handling of the car when you get it through a corner without hitting a lot of the big bumps. Then later on, you can work on the high-speed damping to work on the actual bump handling part of the car. But it is kind of hard to separate the two because they all contribute to the handling of the car.
3.1.
It just makes things more confusing.
Continue here in about 2 or 3 laps, bud.
Hitting in 2 or 3 laps. Have I already been driving that long? How much fuel do I have? 5 gallons. I'm burning. Oh, get off the track. Probably be a good idea. And how much am I burning in a lap? I can't see it on my thing right now. I gotta move. Oops. Looks like I'm burning just under a gallon a lap. Like 0.931 is what I'm burning a lap. Laps are 2-minute laps, so pretty much makes sense. 15 laps and 2 minutes is about half an hour.
You got Mike.
All right. Let's see what we can do here. Honestly, I think I'm gonna work on the. I'm gonna try and work. I don't know. I want to work on the bumps first, but I also don't want to. You know, because that's kind of something you work on top of a foundation set, and I don't want to start with or tune the stuff that's gonna be. And then have to change the foundation, then have to change all that again, so. I always forget how much I can go either way with these setup. With these springs, so I'm just seeing what my ranges are right now. Okay, so I think first thing I'm gonna work on is loose on entry. Alright, so I'm going to increase the low speed rear dampening. This is going to have two effects. One, when the car under braking, rear end's going to lift as you brake, right? Well, the rear end lifts at a certain velocity. With more rear rebound dampening, I'm going to slow down the speed with that rear end lifts off the ground, so it's going to slow down the weight transfer to the front tires, so it'll keep weight on the rear tires a little bit longer, giving them more traction. And also, now that's just, you know, the pitch. Now the dampeners for the roll. When you increase the rebound dampening, we're going into a left-hander. The car is going to want to roll to the right. Right, so what that's going to do, it's going to lift the left side tire, or the left side of the chassis up quicker. And remember, we're making the rebound dampening stiffer. So as that car rolls to the right, we're now slowing down the rate at which it rolls to the right. So that, because the rear end felt like it was rolling too much. It felt like it was kind of rolling over onto the right rear tire, and that's why I was getting loose. So just doing that one adjustment, that's one thing I haven't talked about before, but with the shocks, every time you adjust them, they affect the pitch, which is just the brake, gas, nose up, down motion, and they affect the roll. They affect two different things, so it's always important to remember that when you're adjusting the car. And hopefully, like in that situation, that adjustment, everything goes in the same direction. Purposely drove it in there a little bit harder than I normally would, and it felt pretty good. But again, you don't want to get too excited when you've only ran one lap. A lot of that could have to do with you're getting more used to the track, the car, and the tires have better grip than they did when you had doing that 10-lap run just a minute ago. So it's always a good idea to run, like 5 laps. That way you can really see if the adjustment helps. I think I need to keep it in third gear for that corner. The car's still feeling really good. The other thing to think about when you're thinking about dampeners is, actually I don't know if I want to go off on this tangent right now. No, I'll hold it. Because right now I kind of just want to focus on running good laps. .34. Really liking the way it's handling right now. I think I can actually, my next adjustment changes will be high-speed dampener, so I can start working on getting the car to be more compliant with the bumps.
Sorry.
Definitely want to be running low, I mean like 2-minute flat with this car, if not a 159 in race pace. That'd be, I think that'd be good. Still not knowing what everybody else is running. Just right now I'd like to get another, second of pace out of it. Just again, I still don't feel like completely comfortable with the track yet.
Right side, clear.
Way too hot.
No problem.
Definitely don't have much confidence going through that section. Just like if I touch like any curb there, that just unsettle the car way too much. See if I can run one more good line after this one.
.07.
So much for that. One more good lap.
Left side.
Alright.
Clear, clear.
I'll save that because that was definitely an improvement. Alright, now I'm going to start messing with these bumps. So it feels a bit stiff. So I'm going to cut this, and I'm doing a pretty big adjustment here because I really want to see if I can feel the difference. So the bigger the adjustment I make, the more you can see if you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction. So I'm going to start off by just doing the front end and just adjusting the high-speed compression dampening. So I made it softer, so now when we hit those bumps, hopefully the spring will compress just a little bit faster, and that'll, if I'm right, I mean if that's the right adjustment to make, then the front end won't feel as rough when I hit a bump. And it'll soak up the bumps better. Definitely, I mean, it already feels a little softer. Maybe go a little bit more with it. This is, when you're in the high-speed dampeners, this is something you can figure out kind of quick. It's not something you have to run a lot of laps with, because it's really not going to change over the course of a stint. I mean, if you want to get technical, the spring rate of the tire changes throughout the stint as it gets more pressure in it. It becomes a stiffer spring rate, so in that sense, it'll change a little bit, but not even sure how noticeable that would be. I got through that corner so good that one, man. I lose so much time through there now. Looks like I got a good exit now. How optimal is just one of the 159s? Not probably with this setup, probably with the last one, but I just noticed it. I definitely went the right way with front high-speed compression dampers.
No problem.
One, clap. Keep going.
Oh. Got a little loose and I just stayed on it to see what the car would do. Alright, so that definitely went in the right direction. Save that. I'm gonna see if I have too much rebound dampening in here. I'm just gonna see what happens when I bring this down to 4 now. When you do this, it should actually make the front end
Sorry, Robbie.
give a little bit more life to it, so I'm actually kind of going back to what it was a second ago. But basically, the spring's gonna compress or release its energy quicker.
Moving. Keep going, keep going.
But it just might be that I'm just wondering if I had too much dampening in there, so I wasn't allowing the spring to fully extend. Because if you have too much rebound dampening in there, high-speed rebound dampening, the spring won't get to its full extension point before you hit your next bump, and then you'll keep. Then you'll hit another bump, and then it'll be even lower the next time because it's not expanding quick enough. So the front end keeps getting lower and lower and lower, and you don't want that. You want it to pretty much come back to the static ride height after each bump, or at least not so much that, but you want the spring to fully extend before the next bump, ideally. A good way to tell if you have too much front rebound dampening is if you're going into a bumpy corner, you're on the brakes, and you don't bottom out at first, but after like the second or third bump, you start bottoming out. That's a good sign you have too much front rebound dampening in there. Woohoo. That's the best that's felt through there. Like, it visually to you guys, it probably looked the same, but the way it felt is much more secure. I'll push you through there now. Could be I was carrying too much speed, don't really know yet. Just know it's pushy.
In front of you. Drive through it.
I mean, if you guys ever want to really, get comfortable or learn what adjustments are doing with high-speed dampeners, test on this track. I don't think there's a better track to learn how to adjust high-speed dampeners than this one. Ooh, handled that curve beautifully. Pushed out a little bit there, but it's still, it's hard to explain. It just feels connected. But still can work on something there. I might even try and keep going softer until it feels like I'm going too soft and then go back. I mean, with this high-speed dampeners, it really is a lot of testing, a lot of trial and error. I mean, you could spend hours on this to really fine-tune it. Not hours, but an hour or two. I guess you could spend hours if you wanted to try just all kinds of different spring combinations with different ride heights, different travels, different low speed versus high speed. So yeah, you could spend hours. Still not find that perfect hidden combination of setups. But for people that like to tinker, that's where the fun is, Fun comes in just understanding it. Understanding how things work. Pace is definitely picked up, and most of that is just from, the front end being a lot more compliant with the bumps, which allows me to not drive more aggressive in a sense, but just be able to drive it a faster pace. I guess a better way to say is I don't have to be as conservative. because I was being really conservative earlier because I was just, every time I hit a bump I had to, you know, I was kind of along for the ride, where now I'm kind of driving through the bumps and they're not affecting me as much. Except for this last bump in this corner, I think that'll always affect you. She's a doozy. Because right now, as far as the actual overall handling, it feels really good. It's pretty close to neutral. If anything, it's a little bit on the tight side of neutral, which is where I like to be. Rather be on the tight side of neutral than the loose side of neutral. So I don't really think I put together a solid lap down. I'm definitely having trouble focusing today. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna do this lap, and then I'm gonna actually, I haven't practiced pit entry yet, so next lap I'll practice pit entry. Beach. That is a bump. I can't imagine what it feels like to drive this track in real life.
0.59.
Like, these guys, they gotta be so beat up after a race here. Yeah, wasn't paying attention, way too fast, wrong gear, yada yada yada. I still want to practice pit entry.
Going.
I'm actually going to sneak a peek and see what times people are running. So it looks like the top time is a 58.6, so we'll have to say that's qualifying fuel. I'm guessing top guys will be running 58s in race pace. Maybe in 57s. If I had to take an educated guess, I'd like to get this down into the 159 second bracket, which I think is very possible. I think this track takes more time to really get the muscle memory down, just because your line has to be so much more precise to miss all those bumps you don't want to hit. So I think it takes a little bit longer to really get to a point where you can just hit the cruise control button and log off some solid laps. At least for me. Alright, so I'm practicing pit entry this lap. Try and hit that cone as an apex. Alright, so we'll save that, because that definitely went in the right direction again. just want to go back and get a side view and see what this car is doing through here. Hits that bump. Oh wait, I gotta bring it back farther. So it hits the first bump. Wait, am I just... Sorry guys. I'm just trying to see if you got anybody's into motocross, basically think of casing a jump. I'm trying to make sure the front suspension isn't casing, so it's not coming down when the bump's coming up. That's bad. So we hit that bump. Oh no, see, sorry guys, I keep forgetting to go back all the way to the beginning of the bumps. So there's the first bump. I mean, it's handling them pretty well. It's just a big bump. You can see the suspension's pretty much reset. By the time it gets to that bump, it's just a big ass bump. If anything, it does a little secondary oscillation, and on that secondary oscillation it hits the bump. Does the one bump, kind of resets, and it's going to do a second oscillation right now and hits it at the same time. So that means the car's oscillating a little too long, which means so I have two choices. I can slow down the high-speed compression, or I can slow down the high-speed rebound to slow down that oscillating rate. I'm thinking I want to slow down the bump, or yeah. No, I want to slow down the rebound. There, it's like one oscillation. It's coming up. It's going back down for the second. I mean, that's so close. I can't even tell if that's like actually the road coming up to meet the car, or the car I'll look at in real speed. I mean, I like that. So, again, this is just fine-tuning at this point. I could put this setup on the forums and be happy with it, because I think a lot more of my speed's actually going to come from just running laps and getting used to the track. So I am going to do one click more on the rebounds, slow down that the release of the energy of the spring after it hits the bump. See what we got. Another thing I haven't really experimented with this session, but I don't feel like I need to because it doesn't feel like it's causing me trouble, is, you know, just experimenting with the rear high-speed dampener. So again, if I was going top split, all that fun stuff, I'd definitely just adjust stuff back there and experiment with it. And I even might do it when I go run my 50 laps, or not 50 laps, but you know, my laps, so I can really get the muscle memory down before I go to do a race. That's just a terrible line. All me. I think I won't need 50 laps today because I do not feel on point today. I actually might think I need to go the other way on the rebound. It seemed like it was bottoming out a little bit longer there than usual. And again, if it's bottoming out more, that means you usually have too much high-speed rebound dampening because it's keeping that nose on closer to the ground too long and not resetting before you hit that next bump. Just drove in their way too fast. It's a faster lap, but it doesn't feel better. Again, I think that's just more me getting used to the track. So I'm gonna go back the other way on the. Don't have a lot of time left in this session, so finish this video up by the end of the session. But normally I'd practice my pin entry right there if I had some more time. All right, so let's see here. Back down to 4. See what happens when we bring the rebound down 2 clicks. See how that. Again, we're pretty much in trial and error mode now. Luckily, I didn't have to do a lot to the main part of the setup as far as springs, roll bars, and all that stuff. It's just mostly shocks this week. And of course, you can mess with the rear spoiler if you want. You can mess with everything if you want. It's just for the purposes of building a halfway decent setup in a short amount of time. This will fit the bill. It does amaze me though when somebody just puts a setup out there that's just perfect. I mean, it's a perfect setup. You just don't feel any of the bumps. It's just you can put the car wherever you want on the track. It'll, you know, change directions mid-corner, not get loose or tight. But those kind of sets are hard to come by. Oof, that felt real good through there. Purple. Oh man, it felt good just barely dipping over that curb. That felt good just barely dipping over that curb. I took a horrible line there. I'm definitely gonna stick with that last high-speed dampener change. Front end just feels like it's traveling over the bumps better. It's more in tune with the oscillations of the track. Getting real close to getting in that 59-second bracket. Ooh, that was a good line. Just got a really bad line through there, broke way too early. Nice little wall ride. Alright, I'm gonna call it.
0.17.
That's all. Yeah, I was gonna practice pit entry, but I'll do that when I'm just running laps. I'm just gonna look at that again. I don't know, I love looking at stuff like this. Man, if it wasn't for that one bump, it's handling all those other bumps so well. Alright, now guys, just watch the front splitter so you kind of, I don't know, because a lot of times I'll be talking about, you know, the front end dipping, the rear end raising up. Just pay attention to those things so you can kind of, if that hasn't clicked for you yet, looking at stuff like this will help it click. So you can see I start to hit my brakes, the front end dives down. It's going to want to come up a little bit, but what's keeping it from coming up is that low speed rebound dampening. And you can see the front end's still nice low to the ground, so you don't want it to hit because then it seals off your air and then you lose downforce. I mean, you want it to be just close. And another thing you got to keep in mind with iRacing is the actual surface of the track isn't represented visually exactly the same. I can actually show you guys the secret of iRacing. You should see some little tires sticking through. So see those tires right there? That's the actual track surface. That's a couple millimeters below the track, and I guess the reason they do that is so I don't know if you guys ever heard it was a little bit more common before, but cars, they would call cars floating. And if they actually had the visual representation of the track at the same height as, sorry, I'm just going retard right now. If the, you guys know what I'm saying. If they're at the same level, then the cars would appear to float. And I think a lot of that has to do with there's no tire deformation, at least visually. I don't know how much there is in the calculations, but I don't think it's mapped into the graphics. So I think if they actually had proper visual tire deformation to complement the software part of it, or the physics part of it, then they'll realign everything and make it exactly the same. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. Like, look at this front splitter. It's never really, see how it had to go through a little bit to bottom out there. So that's just something to keep in mind. Without digging through the forums, you're probably not going to run into that kind of information. Or without just playing this for several years and just eventually stumbling upon it. So we should see the splitter skip through here eventually, unless we already went past it. Let's see if we can get this splitter going through here. I just saw it go through there. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Let's look at this one more time for fun. Real speed. It's not much you can do about that last bump. That's just a crazy bump. Alright guys, till next time.